Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is February 14th, and right now we're looking at the infrared satellite imagery. Look at all this cold air spilling down the west coast of North America. And you can see the state of California to the right of this storm system under development as we speak. This one is a slow mover. It's going to be with us here for the next few days, and we're going to get reinforcing shots from this trough. From some very cold air aloft will move down across the state of California. Some lower snow levels, some big wave action, some strong winds, heavy precipitation, thunderstorm potential, all kinds of stuff. We'll dive into all those details as we go through the video here this morning. Now, taking a look at the artificial intelligence, there's our system right now as we are speaking, and you can see it's going to be developing as we go through the day today. And again, kind of pinwheeling down the coastline, starts to bring some moderate heavy precipitation, maybe Bay Area northbound as we go through the day on Sunday. That'll be creeping slowly down across the Bay Area as we go through Monday morning, on the day Monday and Monday evening. You can see it propagate all the way down across portions of Southern California. Look at that Monday afternoon. Heavy rainfall across some of the transverse range here, and eventually moving down towards San Diego County. And big time snows coming as we go through Monday afternoon and evening across the Sierra Nevada. And then we get a reinforcing shot of some very cold air aloft. It'll be with us as we go through the mid portion of the week. Snow levels are going to drop way down, and that precipitation, look at that, continuing across much of the state of California all the way through Wednesday morning. We continue on into Thursday, yet another shot of some precipitation with one more system as we go through Thursday. And then after that, we do have the potential, again, in the long range for some atmospheric river activity. But again, we're not going to worry about that too much just yet. We're going to deal with the short term. We got enough to worry about here as it is. Now, taking a look here at the high resolution North American model, you can see as we go through the day on Sunday, you can't rule out some thunderstorm activity with this as we start to push some of these showers, heavy at times, up, Point Arena, north of the Bay Area, all the way up towards Crescent City there in California. And then you can kind of see that propagate across the Bay Area as we go through Sunday night. Now we're into Monday morning. It's starting to creep across Monterey Bay. Narrow cold frontal rain band pushing across some of the central coast. And you can see that move down towards Santa Barbara County, eventually Ventura County, Los Angeles, Orange, San Diego County, and then the huge snows start across the higher terrain. And that's just the first round. The next storm system is even colder aloft. Now, if we look at the European model, I'll kick it through here and we'll go all the way towards late Sunday night and on in through the early Monday. It starts to kick off some strong winds across the central coast down towards Point Conception. Then that rounds the point, moves towards Southern California with that frontal system. And you can see some strong winds all the way down the coastline towards San Diego. And as you can imagine, the higher terrain, I don't think many places are going to be safe from some of these stronger winds as we go through the day on Monday. And then as we go through Tuesday and Wednesday, you see some of these strong winds are going to be with us all the way through this upcoming period. And again, the higher terrain, some of the desert areas, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, strong winds likely all the way on in through Wednesday, and then maybe even a little bit later than that. Again, we'll worry about that probably tomorrow a little bit more. Now, looking at Los Angeles International Airport, a couple windy periods showing up there. That first one is on Monday, and this one is for the day on Wednesday. The last control run showed 49 miles per hour. So these ensembles are up over 50, and there's Catalina. So yeah, 50 miles per hour. And again, another batch of wind there on Wednesday. So apparent temperature, it is going to feel quite wintry out there. This is the real deal. This storm setup here, the series of storms is pretty nasty. And it's going to bring some very chilly temperatures across some of the region. Watch what happens when I show you some of the temperatures when you take into account wind chill. Look at this cold air mass driving down out of the northwest. And look at across some of the Sierra Nevada by the time we get off in towards Wednesday. I mean, this area all here is below zero with the wind chill. You can see Lake Tahoe is right there. And look at some of these wind chill factors into the Sacramento, the San Joaquin Valley, into the lower 40s, maybe the 30s in some of the foothills there across Southern California as well. And if, of course, you go across some of the mountain areas, it is darn right frigid out there. And that's going to continue for Thursday morning also. I mean, look at this air mass. The wind chill factor is down below freezing for much of the state of California by the time you're on in through Thursday morning. So yeah, pretty intense winter system setup coming up here. Now, if we take a look at what is driving this, this is at 18,000 feet and 500 millibars. You can see our polar vortex kind of pinwheeling off the coastline. That's our initial system there. And then we get this reinforcing shot that is even colder as we go on in through the day on Tuesday. And that's going to be with us a bit as well. As you can see, the vortex swing across portions of the western USA there. So, yeah, that is what's driving all this. This is kind of a slice of the atmosphere at 500 millibars, about 18,000 feet up. So you're looking at the mid levels. But yeah, you can definitely see what is driving this series of storms. Now, accumulated positive snow depth change in inches. We're going to scroll through here and you'll see that Sierra Nevada really pile up. We do get some snowfall across portions of Colorado, and this matters because a lot of this area drains back down in towards Los Angeles, the Colorado River system there. And that's why we worry about the upper Colorado and some of these areas out here across the Southwest, because that provides water to Southern California, and they are down towards record low snow water equivalent levels right now. So we badly need some of the snow to pile up across interior portions as well, not just the Sierra Nevada. And as we scroll out towards the 6-day period, we're getting some of it here, but we definitely need more. The Sierra Nevada, though, is really making out with this next storm system. This is positive snow depth change in inches. So this is actually accumulated snowfall showing up to 6 feet for some locations. Now, if I show you the Kuchera ratio, you might see some maps like this. You got to take this with a grain of salt because it doesn't take into account what kind of compression or melting is going to be going on or what's going to be going on. And sometimes it just kind of flat overdoes some of these totals, but it shows like over 200 inches out there for some locations. But for any matters, this kind of academic at this point, the big snows are coming for the Sierra Nevada, and we dramatically need it. Now, winter storm watches are in effect for a lot of the state, and you can see this for Eureka National Weather Service, California, issued yesterday. 1 to 3 feet of snow accumulating above 3,000 feet starting Sunday. Then look at this, 4 to 12 inches of snow accumulating above 2,000 feet starting Monday evening. It might even drop a little bit below that for some select locations. And again, Sunday through Monday, Trinity County above 4,500 feet. Monday night through Wednesday, look at this. Humboldt, Trinity above 2,000 feet is that secondary polar lobe kind of takes a swing at us here and really drops our snow levels down. You can see Mendocino and Lake above 2,500 feet. So very difficult travel out there. You know, again, these snow levels are going to be kind of abnormally low. So do be paying attention for that. Now, rainfall also for some of the coastal areas. Look at this: San Francisco 2 to 3, Santa Cruz 3 to 4, Monterey 3 to 4. Look at Big Sur 4 to 6 inches, Gorda 3 to 4. And of course, the probability of precipitation is going to be very high. So there could be some isolated flooding concerns, but it's been a while since we've had big rainfall. So we're not overall worried. But again, you could get some of those mudslide and debris flows, especially, across some of the highway. It's right along the coastline there. So anyway, we expect some rises in creeks and streams. Now, again, I mentioned the winter storm watch is in effect. That's all the blue area here. And of course, this is for the higher terrain areas. But look at this, 4 to 8 feet. That's not 4 to 8 inches. That's 4 to 8 feet of snow across higher elevations. And of course, gusty winds 55. And across some of the ridge tops, it's going to be a lot stronger than that, even probably up towards 100 miles per hour for some locations. And snow accumulations down to 2,000 feet. And you see the timing on this as well. This is 10 p.m. Sunday. This is tomorrow night through 10 p.m. Wednesday, February 15th through 18th. And be prepared for chain controls, road closures. Travel is highly discouraged during this time frame. Now, winter storm watch for places a bit further south, you can see there's 395. And again, look at that, over 3 feet above 8,000 feet and 1.5 to 2.5 above 7,000, 8 to 16 inches, 6,000 feet and higher. Wind gust 55 plus, probably stronger again across ridge tops. Now, Reno also calling attention to this, and again, some strong winds out there. And they even mentioned that, look at that, the wind gusts 100 plus miles per hour along some of the ridge tops here, and the big time snow's flying. Going to be some blizzard conditions for some select areas. And this is a chance of 24-hour max wind gusts greater than 45 miles per hour. You can see San Diego on Monday. And then the general bigger chances are through Wednesday here. You see Ontario kind of on the lower side, but Ramona, look at that, 55%, 45, Idlewild 60 and 65%. So yeah, some strong winds are definitely going to be visiting the area. Now, I brought this out about 6 days. You can see some very hefty amounts of precipitation coming. So, the snow water equivalent is probably going to increase between, I would say, what, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe even 8 inches across some of the higher terrain here as we go on into this upcoming week. Probably not 8, but even if we pick up 6 inches of snow water equivalent across the Sierra Nevada, that's extremely beneficial. And you can see all the precipitation kind of encompassing much of the state of California. Now, right now, we're about what, 10.3 inches. We should be at about 19.4. So over the next few days, if we add 6 inches to that, we're going to be around 16. So that will put us up over the 25th percentile, and it'll be a big spike there. So it's definitely going to be beneficial. And maybe we'll even get more after that, as it looks like we might remain active through the second half of February. So definitely a nice bump incoming. And again, it's usually boom or bust here across much of the state of California, and we are definitely going through a boom upcoming here. Winter is paying us a visit, and in a big time way. Now, look at significant wave height and direction. So just a reminder to check this before you go off to the coastline. I know a lot of people go to visit California any time of the year, and they're out in the coastal areas here, and they're turning their back to the ocean, and people get swept away every single year along the west coast of North America. We lose lives due to these big waves. And so, yeah, just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Let people know if you see them out on the beach, because you can see some of these storm systems bringing big wave action up and down the coastline here as we go through the end of February. Now, 2-meter temperature anomaly. So this is showing you about the surface. 2 meters is where we walk around as humans. And you can see over the next few days, we're still, at normal for a lot of areas, and a lot of areas are even still above normal. But as we start to bring that cooler air mass as we go through the day on Monday, look at some of these temperatures. You're really going to feel kind of a sharp change between what is going on Sunday versus what's going on Monday as I toggle back and forth. There's Monday afternoon right there. Now, if we continue to scroll on through Monday night and then go to Tuesday, look at some of these temperatures across much of the state of California. You're talking about some areas between, 20, 25 degrees below normal for this time of year. So you're definitely going to feel the chill. And look at that by the time we go towards Wednesday. I mean, some portions of the Sierra Nevada and portions of Nevada, the transverse range. I mean, look at this. The entire state of California just kind of gripped in this very wintry atmosphere as we go. Some areas approaching 30 or even more degrees below normal for Wednesday afternoon. We'll scroll out towards Thursday afternoon just to kind of show you that cooler than normal the pattern is going to be with us as we go through this upcoming week. Now, looking at daily 2-meter max temperature, there's today, there's Saturday, there's Sunday, there's Monday. Look at that cool down. Sunday and Monday. Pretty notable cool down there across much of the state. And these are maximum temperatures. This is the highest temperature you can expect to get during the day on Monday. There's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So we kind of stay cool as we go through next week upcoming. Now, this is the minimum temperatures. We're going to scroll up in towards next week a little bit. Look at some of these temperatures. Look at Redding, 30 degrees, and 30s all the way down the valley areas. Some 30s into the foothills here, down into Southern California. Very chilly temperatures. Los Angeles approaching 40 degrees probably. These are not apparent temperatures. This is the actual temperature low. And you can see across some of the Sierra Nevada, there's probably going to be some of the higher ridges that are actually below zero for some of their overnight and early morning low temperatures. Now, 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, there we are below normal across the west coast. And then we're starting to switch things up a little bit here, but still has the above normal signal here for much of the west coast as well. Check me out on Facebook, California Weather Watch, and on Patreon also. And what else? We'll do this all again tomorrow. We'll break down and take a look at all the storm system activity as we go through the forecast tomorrow as well. So hopefully you guys are prepared and ready to go. What else? Hopefully you guys are having a good day otherwise, and I will catch you guys in the next forecast.